Hello, and welcome back to Productive Dragons channel, where we do unboxes, play with me's, and other things. And if you like that, please consider subscribing. Today I'll be talking about the book haul I did for May, my birth month. Want to see what I got? Come join me. Alright, so we are going again with a stack, but I'm going to start off with some presents first. And if you've watched my January to March haul, you'll know that I had to get some replacement books because I had water damage and it destroyed some books. So my friend, for my birthday, decided she would get me some books to replace some things. So I got Faybound. I'm sad that I had the Fairy Loot, I believe, one, and so that one got destroyed, and I'm very disappointed, but it is what it is. Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. I had the hardback. Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I had the hardback on that one. It got destroyed, but it was okay. This one is Magic for Liars by Sarah Gilly. I think it's the name. Gailey. Enjoyed this book, so it got destroyed. Laura Lee's Crossbreed, part of the Breed series. Lucy Foyle, The Paris Apartment. I actually had the book of the month, and so she replaced it with this one, which I'm very happy. And then she ended up getting the wrong Anna and the Dragon, but I decided, hey, I'm cool with this because this is something I didn't even know. And I'm sitting there going, ooh, this is something different. I'm going to try this book out. I bought 2 books from Amazon, which is the correct Anna and the Dragon that I needed to replace, by Sophia Paxonek. I think this is part of the series. I think this is the first one in the series, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the first one in the series. And then I ended up getting a craft book, Journal Sparks Fires Up Your Creativity with Spontaneous Art, Wild Writings, and Invented Thinking by Emily K. Newlenberg. I got this book from the library and absolutely loved it, so I decided I had to get this book. It had some great things in here about art journaling, and I'm thinking, oh yes, definitely, I want this. This is going to be so, I wanted so much to have this. And then it has some neat papers in the back, as well as some stickers. Where's the stickers? The stickers are somewhere in here. Ah, there they are. There's the stickers. So I thought, yeah, this is something I really liked. So I decided to buy it from Amazon. So that was one of the things. Now, for my book outlet haul. Oh boy. She and Her Cat stories. This is, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. It's not something, but I've been enjoying some of the translated work from different Japanese authors, and I've gotten some books. This one happened to be on Book Outlet, and I really wanted to read this. Lying alone on the edge of a sidewalk in an abandoned cardboard box, a nameless narrator contemplates the different world around him. His mother's long gone. His only companion is sound by the nearby train. At first, he observes suggestions that he is a human, but our narrator is soon to be revealed a cat. I've been enjoying kind of stories like this, so I said this is something I'd like to try. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I read this through another library. I happened to hear about it, and I read it a long time ago from the library, and I was like, this is such a good book. I would love to own it. It happened to be on Book Outlet, so I grabbed it. Stephen Graham Jones, Mongrels. This happened to be there. I am a big Stephen Graham Jones fan. I will collect his work no matter what it is. He was born an outsider like the rest of his family, poor yet resilient. He lives in the shadows of his Aunt Libby and Uncle Darren, folk who stubbornly make their way in a society that does not understand or want them. They are mongrels, mixed blood, neither this nor that. The boy at the center of the mongrels must decide if he belongs on the road with his aunt and uncle, or if he's fit with people on the other side of the tracks. I love his work. I want to grab as much as I can, and I normally grab his stuff. So he's always. Another book I got was Tender as the Flesh. I'm not going to pronounce the woman's last name, but Augustina. I read this. I thought I was not going to like it, and I ended up loving this book, so I wanted to have a copy. So that ended up being one. Then I got 5 and 6 of the Warriors that I'm trying to collect. So I'm going to. And I can blame Chris's Corner for this. They're the ones that got me involved in this, and I thought, I'm really liking this book series, so I'm definitely grabbing those. Another book that got destroyed, Son of Blood and Ruin. That one got destroyed, so I had to replace it. It was a beautiful, I want to say, fairy loot as well. This was a fairy loot that got destroyed, so I ended up replacing that. I decided to get Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. Every night in the college ancient cemetery, 5 people cross paths as they work the late shift. A bartender, a rideshare driver, a hotel receptionist, an unofficial steward of the neglected church that looms over them, and the editor-in-chief of a college paper, always in search of stories. On one dark October evening in the defunct churchyard, they find a hole that wasn't there before, a freshly opened grave with no grave should be. But who dug it, and for whom? This was something I decided I was going to try. I've heard great things about this author, so I thought, what the heck? It's in Book Outlet, I'm going to grab it. There's No Way I Die First by Lisa Springer. This looked interesting. 17-year-old Noelle Lane knows horror. Every trope, every warning sign, every survival tactic. Who better to throw an ultimate, most exclusive Halloween party on all of Long Island? With some of the top influencers in her school on the guest list, including gorgeous songwriter Archer Mitchell, her popularity is bound to spike. She could really use the social boost for an upcoming brand expansion. Nothing can ruin this party. Except maybe the low-budget it clown she hired for a stirring round of tag. His axe is one of her classmates, and from the looks of his devilish grin and a bag full of killer tricks, he's just getting started. This murderous clown is out for blood, but Noelle has been waiting her entire life to prove that she's a final girl. Love the information about this. Then we've got Spin of the Dawn by Elizabeth Lynn. Marie Taman's dream of becoming the greatest dressmaker in the land. When a royal messenger summons her father to the court, she sees her opportunity. Once a tailor of great renown, her father is too infirmed to travel. So Maria, I said Maria. Her name's not Maria. It's Maya? Poses as his son and travels to the palace in his place, joining 11 other tailors in a competition to become the imperial tailor. She's known her life is forfeited if her secret is discovered. As a woman, she's never to be allowed to compete. But she takes the risk to save her family from ruin and follow her dreams. The competition is cutthroat, and her task is complicated by Eden, a court enchanter, whose piercing eyes seem to see straight through Maya's guise. But nothing could prepare her for the final challenge to sew 3 magical gowns that will take her on a journey to a far-reaching of the kingdom, seeking the sun, the moon, and the stars, and finding more than she could ever imagine. I enjoy her work, so I thought, why not get this? This is another book that I had to replace. This was actually originally from book of the month. So yeah, this is another one. Here's the second book that I got that I also had to replace, Anna and the Nightingale. This is like if you saw Anna and the Dragon. So that was that. Okay. Another book I had to replace, You Look Better as a Ghost. If I'm not mistaken, I got this from an Abominable book club. So this had to be replaced. Then I got Never a Hero by Vanessa Lynn. This is the next book after Only a Monster. I enjoyed Only a Monster, and so I decided to get the second book to continue that series. Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I don't believe I had this book. So this one I hadn't gotten yet. So I'm also a big fan of Riley Sager. I like getting his stuff. 25 years ago, Maggie Holt and her parents, Ewan and Jess, moved from Landberry Hall and a rambling Victorian estate in the Vermont woods. 3 weeks later, they fled in the dead of night. An ordeal Edwin later recounts in a nonfiction book called House of Horrors. His horror memoir of ghostly happenings and encounters with malevolent spirits became a worldwide phenomenon, rivaling the anime horror in popularity and skepticism. Today, Maggie is a restorer of old homes and too young to remember any of the events mentioned in her father's book. But she also doesn't believe a word of it. Ghosts, after all, don't exist. When Maggie inherits Banbury Hall after her father's death, she returns to renovate the place to prepare it for sale. But her homecoming is anything but warm. People from the past chronicle in the horror of House of Horrors lurk in the shadows, and the locals aren't thrilled that their small town has been infamous thanks to Maggie's father. Even more unnerving is Banbury Hall itself, a place filled with relics and from other eras that hint a history of a dark deed. As Maggie experienced strange occurrences straight out of her father's book, she starts believing that what he wrote was more fact than fiction. Like I said, I enjoy his work, so I'm always grabbing his things. Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. I got this before in a book outlet haul, and unfortunately it got damaged. It was a hardback, the one that I got, but that's okay. Christina Henry, another one that I love getting her work, and that says, Good Girls Don't Die. Cecile wakes up in a house she doesn't recognize. There's a little girl who claims to be her daughter and a man who claims to be her husband. Celia knows this family and this life is not hers. Allie is supposed to be on a fun weekend getaway, and then her friend's boyfriend unexpectedly drives to a remote cabin in the woods. No one else believes Allie, but she is sure that something about this trip is very, very wrong. Maggie, who just wants to be home with her daughter, is in a dangerous situation and doesn't know who put her there or why. She has to fight with everything she has to survive. 3 women, 3 stories, only one way out. This captivating novel will keep readers guessing until the very end. Like I said, I enjoy Christina Henry's work, so I try to grab as much as I can of hers, so it's a guarantee. All right. Okay. Okay. I got Sue Lin Tan's The Tales of the Celestial Kingdom. These are some, I believe, short stories from the daughter of the moon goddess in the heart of the sun warrior. Yes, they're a collection of 9 spellbound stories. 7 original and 2 previously published. Includes long anticipation epilogue of the duology. So yeah, I like her work as well, so I grabbed this. Okay, here we go. I grabbed Everybody on the Train as a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson, as well as Everyone in This Christmas Has a Secret. I enjoyed this. I have read this one. It is really good. Everybody in my family has killed somebody. I still need to pick up that book. But he's become one of those ones that I also want to collect his work because I've enjoyed everything. I have not read this one yet. And it's still going with Ernest Cummings. Did I just see a signature? Yes, this was a signature. So I'm really thrilled. So we're continuing with Edison Cunningham. So this should be interesting. I can't wait to get into this one. We have a Dark Academia anthology. There are certain authors I like in this one. In These Hollow Halls. In these stories, dear students, Retribution visits a Lothoric lecturer. A sinister truth is revealed about a missing professor. A forsaken lover uses a seance for revenge. An obsession blooms about a possible illicit affair. Two graduates exhume the secrets of the reclusive scholar. Horrors are uncovered in this obscured academic department. 5 hopeful initiates must complete a murderous task, and much more. We have several authors in here, and I think out of them I've only read one. So, but I'm willing to try it. And then Emilia, but I've read Olivia Blake. So this one is definitely, I can't wait because it sounded good. Now, yeah. Okay, then we've got this one. This is book 4 in the series, about Ropa. I enjoyed this series. I will butcher these names. Anomie, The Legacy of something else. I'm going to butcher these names, so I try not to. But this is part of the Edinburgh series, night series. So I really enjoy this series. I'm now collecting the series as well. Okay. I also grabbed If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. Enter the players. There were 7 of us then, 7 bright young things with wide, mischievous futures ahead of us. Until that year, we saw no future than books in front of our faces. I couldn't wait to, like I said, I've heard good things about this one, so I wanted to get that. I lucked out and got The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. I have read this. This was good, so I decided I wanted to own it. It is very good, and so that's kind of an obvious one. She is Haunting by Trang Tay Tran. I am probably butchering this. I received, this is another replacement because I believe I got the other one via Fairy Loot. Was it Fairy Loot or was it? Might not have been Fairy Loot. It might have been Fox and Whip, maybe? It was one of the special editions, but unfortunately, like I said, got damaged. So I ended up having to replace that with this. I'm going to go ahead and show these two. The Daughter of the Siren Queen and The Vengeance of a Pirate Queen. This is part of a series. So, The Daughter of Pirate King. These I want to continue. So, and I enjoy Teresa's Lenseller work. So I'm grabbing those. I'm hoping to finish this series. Okay, I had to replace The Foxglove King by Hannah Whitman. I ended up, like I said, this one also got destroyed. I believe this was a fairy loot that I got. Then I got this, the Dark Descendant. There is a lot of interesting writers in this one. So let me see if I can. I'm a big Clive Barker's fan. Shirley Jackson's not bad. Stephen King, I've only maybe read one book so far of his, and I enjoyed it. Let's see here. Shirley Jackson. Bradbury. Let's see. There are bunches of authors in here, like I said. Ooh. And it looks like they're repeating some, because I see that there's 2 by H.P. Lovecraft as well as Stephen King. There's 2 Shirley Jacksons. But this should be interesting. I'm a big fan of horror, so I really like the idea of this, having fun reading this one. Slowly. Johnny Compton's The Devils Kills Devils. Sarita has been watched over by a guardian angel her entire life. She calls him Angelo and keeps him a secret. But some secrets won't stay hidden. When Angelo murders someone she loves, Syria begins to see what has really been lurking in the shadows surrounding her, and she will have to embrace the evil within she hopes to make it out alive. Johnny Compton did The Spite House. I enjoyed that. I ended up getting this on NetGalley, and I enjoyed that, so I decided when I found out Book Outlet had it, I grabbed it. I'm beginning to like his work as well. Another person that I enjoy is Brom, The Evil in Me. An aspiring musician, Ruby Tucker has had enough of her small town and dysfunctional family, but a falling out with her best friend and bandmate has killed her dreams to escape and make it big in the 80s Atlanta punk scene. When Ruby helps her eccentric neighbor organize his religious relics, an ancient ring clamps down on her finger, possessing her with the spirit of a bloodthirsty demon. There is no exorcising it unless hundreds of people chant a spell to set Ruby free. And what's worse, the ring is a beacon for evil, drawing a monstrous mob straight to Ruby, hunger for her flesh. If Ruby can get her band back together, she's got a shot of salvation. It's time for her to face the music and put her whole soul into a song, one powerful enough to raise some hell. I enjoy his work. I have read Slewfoot, and there was the other one, and I'm just now forgot the other one. Crumpets. I enjoyed both of those, so I've been also trying to collect Brom's work. And that's not easy. No One Can Know by Kate Ashell Marshall. I believe this is another one I had to replace. I believe the original I had was from Book of the Month. So there was that one. Another one I had to replace, The World of Lore, Wicked Mortals. I'm slowly getting these replaced, but I still have a few more on a list that I need to get. The Tempest of the Tea. Why save the world when you can have tea? On the streets of the White Rowing, Arthi Kashmir is a criminal mastermind and collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by night, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when her establishment is threatened, Arthi is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it, and she can't do the job alone. Calling on some of the city's most skilled outcasts, Archie hatches a plan to infiltrate the sinister, glittering vampire society known as the Arthurium. but not everyone is in her ragtag crew is on her side. As the truth behind the heist unfolds, Archie finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. So this should be interesting. So I decided to try that one out. Another one that I had to replace, this was a book of the month. The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa M. Marland. Sorry. Horror stories. The black girl survives in this one. Try that again. Celebrating a new generation of essential black writers, from the best-selling voices to the breakout stars. The black girl survives in this one. Makes a space for the black girls in horror. 15 chilling and thought-provoking stories place black girls front and center as heroes and survivors who slay monsters, both human and supernatural, battle spirits, and face on death. From slashers to space horror to ghost stories to reimagining of folktales, this collection taps into a rich history of culture, folklore, and campfire traditions, while leaning into the nostalgic of beloved 90s horror, except this time the final girls are black. Prepare to be terrified and left breathless by the expansion and thrilling piece of this anthology. I couldn't pass this up. Let's see here. I don't recognize any of the authors, I believe, in the back. So this would be really great. I enjoy reading stuff like this. This is, to me, great for horror. I'm in the Dark. The Answer When You Call. Jameson Shea. This is the second book in the I Fed the Monster and the Monster Was Me, I believe. I fed her to the beast, and the beast is in me. So I decided to go ahead and get the second book. I don't remember if I replaced this one. I think Fire in the Sky is actually one that... This is Sophie Jordan, A Fire in the Sky. Dragons live. Everyone believes they're gone, and the last of them annihilated in the threshing. Lost to the annals of time, to fade of memory, to be recalled only by the barbs. It is the arrogance of man that holds to this, the wish for it to be so. Wishing does not make it true, though. Years ago, the kingdom of a man came together and ventured into the crags. Legions of soldiers joined forces for the greater good, to see the end of the pestilent dragons. For years, for decades, for centuries, they hunted, ridding the sky of dragons' fire and claiming their caches for the treasures themselves, until none remained, except for one. Okay, then I've got Basilisk, Volume 3. I have the first two. I just needed to leave. This is the last one, I hope, but I'll keep that. And somehow I lucked out, and I ended up getting the Carnival series by Stephanie Garberd. I cannot believe I managed to get this. I've already read Carnival. I'm going for Legendary and continuing, so hopefully this should be really interesting. I ended up getting the Abominable Book Club sampler that actually has the beverages and all that in it. So the first book I got in that one was Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chaplin. Noah Fairchild has been losing his formerly polite Southern parents to a far-right cable news for years. So when his mother leaves him a voicemail warning him that the Great Reckoning is here, he assumed is related to one of the many conspiracy theories she believes in. But when his own phone calls go unanswered, Noah makes a long drive from Brooklyn to Richmond, Virginia. There, he discovers his childhood home in shambles, a fridge full of spoiled food, and his parents locked in a terrifying trance-like state in front of a TV. Panic, Noah attempts to snap them out of it and get medical help. Then Noah's mother brutally attacks him. But Noah is not the only person to be attacked by a loved one. Families across the country are tearing each other apart, literally, as people consume to the form of possession that gets worse the more time they spend watching particular channels, using certain apps, and visiting certain websites. In Noah's Richmond-based family, only he and his young nephew, Marcus, are unaffected. Together they must race back to the safe haven of Brooklyn, but can they make it before they fall prey to the violent hordes? This one also came with a signature plate. So this one is interesting. I enjoy his work, so I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy this because it sounds very political. And I'll be honest, I'm not politically. Political stuff, not so much. Then we got The Red Rabbit by Alex Grisham. Sadie Grace is wanted for witchcraft, dead or alive. Every hired gun in Kansas is out to collect the bounty on her head, including bona fide witch hunter Old Tom and his mysterious mute ward, Rabbit. On the road to Bourbon County, they joined by two vagabond cowboys with a strong sense of adventure, but no sense of purpose, and a recent widowed schoolteacher with nothing left to lose. As the posse grows, so too does the danger. Racing along the drought-stricken plains in a stolen red stagecoach, they encounter monsters more wicked than the witches luring along the dusty trail. But the crew is determined to get the bounty, or die trying. Interesting. Never heard of this. So, with this sampler, there is 2 new books, and there's supposed to be a gentle used book. But with the sampler, you do not get a gentle used book. That's only for their subscribers. So, in turn, this is what the other book would be. And it looks like a magazine called Remains. And this is an issue 1, and there are different stories in here. So, you don't get the general used book. If you've seen my subscription from Abominable Book, it was the Bear Books. That one would show a book that was, the sampler doesn't do that. So here we go. There goes that. So, with that being said, books upon books upon books. We're not going to move these because these will fall. That is my haul for the month of May. What did you think of my selection? As I said, majority of them were replacements, unfortunately, and some were not. But all in all, I've been enjoying getting the books. My friend, on the other hand, probably not so much. But all in all, what did you think of my selection? Let me know which ones you're interested in. Did I have a favorite? Did I find you something that you may have not even known about? Put it all in the comments below. Like the video. And until next time, I hope everybody is having a wonderful day.